this is the first time that I've ever met you,
Yes.
Rachel Hawes from the Coastal Conservation League. But you grew up right over there.
I did, not too far from here. I used to swim in Shem Creek all the time as a kid.
Oh, how wonderful. And tell me about your background. Have you worked with DNR?
I did. I worked with DNR right on Fort Johnson Road doing our marine education program, so I'm familiar with talking about all of this habitat to kids up through adults.
And what is your title now?
Now I am working at the Coastal Conservation League, and I am our land, water, and wildlife project manager. So I manage our oyster, salt marsh, and fisheries related projects, which is a new position for the league, and we are moving forward with it.
Great. Well, tell me about Shem Creek. Tell me what you know about this creek.
Yeah, Shem Creek is an interesting one because there is so much going on in the creek at one time, and I think that's what plays a really dynamic role with it. You know, you have the shrimp docks, which have been here for ages, and now we have more restaurants and bars on the creek, which increases boat traffic. And then when you go further up the creek, you get to a lot of residential houses and eventually a couple of roads that cross over the creek.
So tell me what you could do to help your creek.
I like to think about it from a watershed approach. So everyone thinks about it from the up of the creek down to the and that flows down out the creek. So really focusing on what's up creek for you too. So what's up the river affects everything down the river, and everything on your portion of the creek will also flow right out into a harbor or to an ocean right below you. But my area of habitat that I focus on is really this creek to land connection. So everything you do on your portion of the creek has an effect on the land, that transitional period right up to your property and landward.
How about banks? Can you shore up some banks?
So a living shoreline is a natural way of protecting your shoreline. So we think of, putting up walls and rock walls as one way, but now there have been lots of research studies done where you can utilize oysters and salt marsh in certain ways to promote that type of habitat, which then protects your shoreline. This can be done, so oysters alone help break up some of that wind and wave energy that will pound your shoreline and cause erosion. But not only do they help break that up, they also help build up the salt marsh behind the oysters. So if you think about this grass right here, they have a whole root system right there on the shoreline that helps stabilize your sediment, and so helping prevent erosion from occurring on your banks.
It's like long fault hardened structures. Hey, tell me about Crab Bank.
Yeah, so just at the end of Shem Creek, as you know, there has been a huge successful restoration project that's just occurred. Multiple partners have rallied together to restore Crab Bank back to its original footprint and even larger. And it's a huge, great, safe space for migratory birds to go to that area and nest and rest before continuing on their journey.
How have Coastal Conservation League and other groups helped African American communities like Cane Point and Phillips?
Yeah, the Phillips community was experiencing some development pressures, and they live that community's off of 41, and they wanted to expand that highway and run the expansion through the middle of the community. And thanks to organizations in the communities in that area and the members who spoke up and were advocates for themselves, that highway has now officially been rerouted around the community, which is really great.
That's a wonderful, wonderful piece of news. How about Cane Point?
Cane Point is experiencing development pressures as well. There have been proposals for, I think, 16,000 homes in that area.
Oh, Lord have mercy.
It's hard to even envision, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. I'm not going to.
Don't. Hopefully
Okay.
we won't have to. But, I think what we're really promoting there is protection of that cultural area and that important cultural space, as well as that habitat and natural resources in that area. the red cockaded woodpeckers, which are an endangered species, but also reducing the flooding risk there. The more homes you build, the increased chances of flooding happen.
Yeah, and we do live in that kind of community, don't we?
I mean,
Everybody on the coast.
mm-hmm.
What other things would you like to touch on that I haven't asked you?
Well, the Coastal Conservation League, as part of my role, has been working on doing some oyster restoration projects around our community. And we're always taking volunteers. If people want to come out and help get some boots on the ground and put your hands to work to help restore our oyster population. So you can come out with us and build an oystery.
Where do you do it?
We have one notable location that you can see from the Charleston Harbor, and that is right at Chutes Folly, which is where Castle Pinckney is.
Oh, at Castle Pinckney.
Yes, we've done 2 builds out there totaling almost 170 feet of oyster reef.
That's
Yes, and we'll be doing another one out there coming this spring.
wow. So you have all ages working with you, don't you?
I do, we'll take anyone as long as you're able to come out and help us.
Yeah, that's what we're hoping, that these videos will get people more involved environmentally. And every single person's vote, every time they write to their legislature, every time they tell a friend what they're concerned about and cause action, they're part of the process for change for good.
Absolutely, absolutely.
Well, I sure have enjoyed talking with you. You're just a lovely spark of joy.
I think the same about you.
Elder, young.